Welcome to the second video of the 4 major fundamental concepts in programming. In this video we're going to be talking about control structures. So what are control structures? Control structures are used in programming to make decisions in the code. That's the simple definition of what control structures are, to make a decision in the code. So let's say for example that you're playing an RPG video game and the user in this example here gets to choose between 2 weapons. You either get to choose between either a knife or a sword. And in this example here we have an if-else statement. So let's say for example that the user decides to choose the knife. So if the player chooses to choose the knife, it's going to execute that line of code and then ignore the second part of the code. So if he chooses the knife, that line of code that I've got highlighted here is going to execute. Whereas if the user chooses to choose the sword, the second part of the if-else statement, then it's going to jump directly to that part of the code and then ignore the first part of the code and then execute the sword code. So that's a very basic example of what a control statement is with the if-else control statement. But what about the other types of control statements, which include for loops, while loops, and do while loops? I cover those in detail in my book, but I'll give you a quick rundown of the second type of control statements. So let's talk about a while loop. So going back to my previous video where I talked about Boolean variables, it's going to kind of be similar to what I'm going to be talking about here in while loops. So let's go back to an example of, let's say you're playing a first-person shooter and the while loop is going to keep running and running and running and running until the player has died. So let's say that while loop was set to true. When that while loop has been set to true, like I've got in this example here, that code is going to keep running and running and running until that while loop has been changed to false. So what a while loop does is that the program is going to keep running and running and running until that decision has been changed to false. That's the second type of control structures which are used in programming. So I hope that makes a lot of sense of what control structures are. And if you have any questions, feel free to comment down below and I'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you have regarding control statements.